you can see there, one of the most important developments on the continent in trying to assist young people get into business are the innovation hubs, or let me just call the innovation ecosystem in Africa. So right now, as we speak, you can see from that map there is last count, which is 2019, 2020, 643 innovation hubs in Africa, all manner of co-working spaces, incubators, accelerators, hybrid hubs, and affiliated private sector, universities, government. All this is growing in Africa. But if we go on to the next slide, we'll show why it's not having a huge impact and why we need to improve this and why the African Union is concerned. Next slide, please. Is to tell you the challenges that the innovation ecosystem still faces in Africa and why it's not being able to assist a lot of the young people. Insufficient investment capital, weak infrastructure, especially power and networks, scarce and costly skilled workers in some of the sectors I was explaining to you, scarce and costly high-speed internet, and unhelpful legal and regulatory framework, limited enabling policy environment, and all manner of barriers to business entry, both in the private sector itself and in government. In the private sector, because there are a lot of cartels and monopolies, which makes it difficult to enter in that business. And then in terms of regulations, you've got all sorts of fake standards, making it difficult for startups. Next slide, please. So I believe that both government and youth have a lot to do to leverage these opportunities. And as I said, it all goes back to understanding that whoever controls Africa runs the world. It goes back to understanding that we have to understand structural transformation processes and focus on being able to work at more than one level. So here is probably the most important statement I'm going to make about youth today. You can't operate at one level where you just want to start businesses or be employed. You have to understand that the problem is to be solved at least 5 levels, but you have to focus at least 2 levels. One level, as you are trying to start up a business in any of these sectors I talked about, you must understand that you may be competing with others for the markets, for finance and so on. But at another level, you have to work together in your sector to create a bigger sector, to create a bigger industry, to create a bigger market. So this is the problem in Africa. We think just competing. I start selling my tomatoes at the street corner, and then somebody joins, and then another joins. We're fighting for a shrinking market. No, it's okay to compete. But at the same time, you have to work together to say, how do we grow the sector which you're trying to service? Because it is that constitutes the industrial intelligence. The industrial strategy is for people in a sector to compete and yet growing the sector to a bigger level. I think I've said enough, and I am quite happy to engage in a conversation. Thank you.